Hey guys, King of Charmants here, and today I will be your judge, jury, and your analyst. If you like the catch phrase, the catch phrase, see the catch, okay, catchphrase, okay, I swear I drank water before making this video. Anyways, as you see here, so with YTX Pikachu's data and PvPoke actually updated the rankings, so this is kind of it doesn't necessarily flip the meta, but this is good information, and it might actually kind of flip what you might see in the remix, in Great League Remix, if that's your main squeeze right now. If you are used, so I got a few comments about it, or like a few viewers told me about it, but like, I always recommend you do which league you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with Great League, Open Great League, instead of Great League Remix, there's not much of a difference. No, really, there isn't. You'll still see the same meta mods, just like different patterns, but generally you'll still see a lot of like really good things. Anyways, as you see here, again, the rankings did update, so I pretty much have, like, every time these come out, I, like, don't necessarily memorize them, but I kind of remember, like, which ones have been in which place. So I'm going to just show you, do a quick analysis, and again, maybe this will help you out, or maybe change your mind about analyzing things a little bit. So let's get started. Alright, as I always say, please consider donating at ppoke.com. So the rankings overall, well, the top 3 haven't really changed, but just a little bit here and there. I think the lead closers and switches have more of an impact as far as when the data was inputted. So the difference between before was that Cresselia was actually at number 7. As you see, Cresselia has gotten more valuable rather than Deoxys defense. I think this is a good thing just because Cresselia is more available than Deoxys defense, but I think the reason why Cresselia is out here and does better is because it has Moonblast. With the rise of the Sableye and the Cresselia, well, I mean, no. Sableye and Mandibuzzers. Those are like the only 2 dark types I know that are allowed. Well, others are, but those are the 2 primary ones. As you see here, Moonblast does a lot to those dark types, especially if you get the debuff. So technically, that plus Cresselia's Bulls and Grass Knot makes it more valuable than Deoxys defense. Just because it takes forever to, not really forever in a sense, but it takes a while to get to Rock Slide and Thunderbolt versus Moonblast and Grass Knot. Just because Psycho Cut gives you 9 energy per move, so it's just faster. So in a sense, because it's faster, yes, it's not too much of a ratings boost. I mean, it's like plus 0.8, but that's basically what it is. As you see, Cresselia actually ends up becoming the most powerful safe switch now, which is pretty nuts. So as we go to the leads, again, there's like a lot more for the leads and closers. Not too many changes, a few things here and there, a few more things like Cresselia got way more valuable, well, not way more, but became more valuable than Deoxys defense, etc. Also, regular Bastiodon went from like number 12 to number 6. I don't know if that's a good thing. It might be just because Bastiodon plus Medicham XL, this damn thing right here, is insanely powerful. And arguably, I think well, it's still, like, it stayed the same, honestly. Medicham XL hasn't changed as far as effectiveness. It's still the best Pokemon overall, especially the best lead. So, hasn't changed a lot as far as the overall rankings go. Just a few placements here and there. Like I said, Cresselia bumped up a little bit, and then Bastiodon, regular Bastiodon XL went up even more. Alright, so the leads did change I can't pronounce anything right now. I apologize. Anyways, the leads didn't change. I was about to say a really big word, but the leads didn't change a lot. Well, actually, they changed a lot. I lied. I looked at it, and yeah, they do change a lot. So, as you see here, Medicham XL is still the number 1 lead, so if you're using it, it's still really freaking good. Don't change anything. As you see here, there has been a few changes. For example, Wigglytuff and Gardevoir dropped off with number 2 and number 3. Scrafty actually went up like 7... Actually went up a lot, and it's actually surprising. Well, not really. The reason why Scrafty went up a lot is because of this thing. So, the king, or the queen, of Jellyfish has actually entered as the number 2 most powerful lead in the game. So, well, not really in the game. I wish. It would be cool to have Jellicent as number 2 lead, but just for the Great League Remix. As you see here, the reason why it's super powerful, it beats Medicham. Well, that's the number 1 thing. Beats the Psychic Archetypes, beats Bastiodon, barely. Walls Ready Steel, and gives Alola Ninetales a hard time. So it beats a lot of popular leads. And I've used it a lot. As you see here, Hex and Bubble Beam are really powerful. That's the moveset I use. So I was like, yes. Yes! Screw you, Ice Beam! Bubble Beam is king! I'm just kidding, Ice Beam still works. If you're using it and it's working for you, then I'm wrong. But anyways, as you see here, it looks like regular Medicham, so Medicham level 41 Medicham actually went up to number 3. This is huge and just shows you how Medicham should have been banned, but, you know, for some odd reason, Cantonian Raichu is the greatest threat since... I really don't know what to say. Like, yeah. Medicham's good. Anyways, as you see here, Medicham, the fighting art type did go up quite a bit. Deoxys defense lost some stock. It's still really good, but it lost a lot of stock just because of the aforementioned above. Losing to things like losing to Wigglytuff, losing Clefable, being beat by Mandibuzz, etc., Wishcash and Altaria. There's just a lot of things that beat Deoxys defense, and they're better fighters, like Medicham XL, if you're trying to use it, that worked better for the team. It's still really good, don't get me wrong. You're still getting W's with it, it's the reason why, but just... What I mean by, like, as you see, these changes are very minor. If you look at these scores, there's not a huge difference between any of them. The biggest disparity you will see is between number 1 and number 10, where it's like 8.8. 8 isn't 8. As far as score-wise, 8 isn't a lot. Meaning all of these that you see here are still really freaking good. There's a reason why you're seeing a lot of them. But yes. Other than that, other than the Charmers taking a hit, Medicham being a boss, and Emperor or Empress Jelly taking the stand as, like, moving up, as well as Scrafty, Politoed has actually moved up well. You've probably seen a lot of Politoed leads, the Shadow one in particular, just because the Shadow damage plus Weather Ball is probably the most broken thing since sliced bread. It only takes 4 mud shots to get the Weather Ball. It's not a surprise because for those of you that don't know, many of you do, Politoed is tied with the fastest mon to get to its charge move. It only takes 4 to get to Weather Ball, so 4 mud shots. No Pokemon has been faster, except for Galarian Rapidash, which you don't see a lot in this meta, but yeah. My Little Pony is tied for the Shadow Evil Frog. Or Toad, or... Toad. It's a Toad, not a frog. Well, you know what? Let's just keep going. Anyways, as you see here, again, yeah, there were a lot of major changes. Again, it looks like the Ghost Archetype is taking over. Scrafty went up a lot. Politoed has entered, and the Charmers have taken a little bit of a hit. Not too much. They're still in the top 10, so they're still oppressive. Alright, so switches flipped quite a bit. Not too much, actually. The Psychic Archetype's really strong. But as you see here, Cresselia and Vigoroth had some kind of match or whatever, and the flying, floating space duck beat the unholy crap out of whatever Vigoroth is, a sloth or gazelle or whatever, but Cresselia overtook Vigoroth as the best save switch in the game, and it's not really hard to see why. It's just because of the fact that there's a lot of Medichams in the back, so if you save switch a Cresselia in here, Moonblast and Grass Knot is a great coverage moveset against a lot of things. Even though you get your butt kicked by Dark types or by Ghost types, Grass Knot and Moonblast is just a very powerful moveset, and if you are lucky enough to get the debuff with Moonblast, you can possibly flip some matchups. Of course, because of the Steel Archetype, like with Bastiodon and Registeel, as you see here, can give you a problem. But Cresselia can still beat Bastiodon if you can Grass Knot down. You can still beat Registeel if there's enough chip damage on it. Overall, Cresselia is very powerful just because of the counter-heavy meta. So if you save switch into a Cresselia and your opponent doesn't have a Ghost type, then it does really well against a lot of the entirety of the meta, which is why it's a very powerful save switch. I mean, I said it was probably... didn't I make a video saying it was the most underrated legendary? Just saying. As you see here, Cresselia is a boss, and it does really, really well. So, if you have it... what I don't like is that it's legendary, Grass Knot is legacy, so it's expensive. If you don't have Cresselia, just use Vigoroth. 1.4% is not a lot, and I love Vigoroth a lot in this meta. It still does really, really well for me. 1, for the fact that it wins CMP against a lot of teams. 2, for the fact that Bison just does an insane amount of damage. And 3, it literally just... if it doesn't resist it, you're scared. But yeah, that's the reason why. But Cresselia has taken over as the number 1. Mew and Deoxys defense are still incredibly powerful save switches. The top 5 kind of just reordered a little bit, as you see here. So 1 through 4 kind of reordered. Some newer entries is Pelipper has risen as a great save switch. Not like we didn't know that already, that was a great save switch, but as far as the Great League Remix goes, it's risen up in rank just because of, again, the fighters in the back. Pelipper can also take out Bastiodon if you can get a couple of weather. The keyword is can. As you see here, Bastiodon still absolutely destroys the floating toilet bird. So, well, not floating, the flying toilet bird. So, flying toilet bird still gets destroyed by Bastiodon. As you see here, it does really good against things like Registeel, because Registeel, you technically wall Registeel, but Pelipper is glassy, so it's very, it's still really good as a safe switch. Just be careful, because it is kind of glassy, so again, even though it does resist a Flash Cannon from Registeel, it still does a lot of damage, surprisingly. Lola Ninetales is still up here. Lickitung XL has ridden up a bit. Sableye has taken a hit a lot as far as like viability goes, and the one that's really entered is probably Politoed. You'll see Politoed a lot in the lead, but a lot of people have been keeping Politoed in the back as well, just because of Weather Ball spam. A lot of times what Politoed users will do is try to catch that Bastiodon in the back. If you catch Bastiodon in the back, you're gonna do great. But other than that, Politoed still does really well, especially in the back. And as you see here, the Shadow one is very powerful. If you have a Shadow Politoed. Yeah, if you have a Shadow one. As you see here, Earthquake is the recommended moveset. No real reason for you. Well, there is reason for you to use Blizzard if you see an Altaria, but as you see here, whichever one you use, Politoed is still a beast. And as far as that goes, like, that's probably the biggest surprise. Again, summarizing it, the numbers 1 through 40 didn't change too much. Cresselia just took over Vigoroth. Pelipper got stronger. Alolan Ninetales is still kind of in the same way it's at, and Politoed, well, Shadow version and regular version have gotten a lot more popular as a safe switch. Now, the closers, as you see here, didn't really change too much. This is where you have Zero Shields. Registeel is still a pain. It's incredibly safe and the most powerful closer. Still the most powerful closer. Still the most powerful. Nothing changed here. There is one minor detail in the closing scenario that makes me want to cry. And it's because it's a good idea. Bastiodon! So Bastiodon wasn't exactly high on... Well, this is the XL version. As you see here, an XL Bastiodon trucks through a lot of back rows. Here's what's scary. The XL version actually beats the other version. So, the thicker brother beats the other brother, beats the more powerful, well, beats the 15 attack brother just because it's so godforsakenly bulky. If you can keep Bastiodon away from any fighter, or you take out the fighters on the other team, this thing essentially runs over pretty much everything. I've seen it before. I don't like it, but it's good. It's good. It's good. That's all I have to say. Being Bastiodon in the fact, as you see, Bastiodon is incredibly powerful as a closing mon. It beats a lot of back patterns, again, as long as you avoid fighters. Even thick things like Jellicent, etc. have to basically beat the unholy hell out of Bastiodon, but that's basically what it is. Bastiodon XL or just Bastiodon in general are very powerful in the closer regardless. So I guess suppose another good thing is that Altaria has taken a ranks. It is a great closer in the back as well. Just basically a lot of things that do well against... Well, this is kind of like your anti-fighter. If you hate fighters, Altaria is your best friend. As you see here, it destroys a lot of things. However, it's also a lot of things to destroy it, so be very mindful of that. As you see in the closer Deoxys defense, can Rock Slide you to death. Registeel and Bastiodon love seeing you. And don't even get me started about Mr. Wiggles. Yes, as in any Charmer, Charmers will destroy Altaria. But as you see here, as far as the closing scenario goes, Altaria has been shown to be a lot more powerful of a budget pick than I thought. And as you see here, Bastiodon XL is a beast, and Bastiodon in general is really powerful as a closer. So not too much other than those three that I mentioned. In other words, make sure you have something that kills Bastiodon. And that's it. As you see, there were quite a little bit of changes. Not too much in the closer. However, the lead and switches did change a little bit. I knew Cresselia was going to be a sleeper. I didn't know it was going to be that good. But actually, I kind of did. But, like, you know, it's hella expensive, man. It takes so much to... a floating space duck, 100k for a second move, elite TM if you don't have the Sinnoh research one. Dang, bro. Anyways, as you see here, if you're finding something that's working for you, just use it. There's a reason why these things are ordered this way, just because... they're good, but however, since these ratings do sound true, teams that you used before are the team you're using right now. If you're climbing with it, don't switch it up. This is basically just shows you that there is things flip or things got better than the others, etc. once data was inputted. But as you see here, again, if you're using something and it's working for you, stick with it. That's pretty much it. There are some minor changes here as far as rankings go. There is a few things that flip when you merge data, but as you see, pretty much everything's pretty, just like I said, a few minor adjustments for each one. Maybe a few things that I would like more than others. Looking at you, Bastiodon. You stupid, four-legged, ugly dino... Okay, you know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get banned for Pokemon cruelty, watch. Report me. I'm just kidding, don't report me, please. Anyways, that's it, you guys. Hopefully these rankings do help you and give you an idea of how metas do shift. These rankings really do help you because if you notice, there's a reason why you're seeing a lot of these Pokemon in a meta, especially if you're like near the PvP, you're like, oh, so that's why I see a lot of stuff. It's because statistically it's there for a reason. But as you see here, there are a few minor changes. Hopefully these changes do make you aware, because you will see these a lot because of, well, yeah, this is up-to-date information. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe. Hopefully you guys are doing great in Go Battle League sets. Wish you the best of luck, and I will see you guys on the next video.
Ciao!